Wait a second. It's Friday. What's happening? It's the day before Halloween. Hello. Hi. Welcome to a very special Halloween episode. This ended up being a little longer than I thought it was going to be. But you know what? It's content. It's great. But today, we are reading The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. And I hope you all will enjoy this fun little Halloween special, like an extra little taster, before you start your Halloween celebrations. However you're celebrating this year with, everything going on in the world, I hope you still enjoy the holiday, whether you stay inside and binge Halloween Town, all of them, like I'm probably going to do, or, you make yourself something nice. Whatever you do, I hope you have a wonderful Halloween and that you enjoy this episode of the Barely Bookish podcast. Hello everyone! We are doing a very special Halloween special. A very special Halloween special. Yep, that's what I'm gonna go with. We are reading Call of Cthulhu, or The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft, a short story that I thought would be very different than it turned out being. And I am joined today by Nova.
Hello!
So, we'll just jump right into what I thought was supposed to be a horror story, which just turned out to be ramblings of a crazy man, is kind of what it felt like to me. I really was not scared. Like, I'm normally not someone who reads a lot of horror, so usually when I do read horror, I'm like, oh, this is freaking me out. I'm gonna have nightmares. And I literally was reading this and I was like, okay.
I felt like I was being, told about a horror story, and I was like,
yeah.
Okay, where is it?
I know.
I'm waiting.
I felt like I was reading if you could somehow report a horror story in a textbook,
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was going with here. I was like, okay. Like, I am not freaked out, but should I be?
Yeah. It was very much like that. Like, the really only part where it felt more horror-y was, towards the end. Where it was kind of more in detail of what was going on. And it was like, okay, now we're getting there. And then it, ended. It was like, wait a minute.
I know. Now I'm like, okay, I can get where we're going with this. I'm about to be freaked out. And then it was like, and I hope I don't die. And I was like, okay, we're just going to leave it there. Like, thanks for that, I guess. I feel like I was teased, I got a little tidbit of the scary and I was like, okay, here it goes. It's going to be scary. And then they're like, and goodbye. Thank you. Thanks for coming out. And I was like, cool. That's what I wanted to happen.
I wonder if I don't know. I know a lot of his short stories are connected. Like he's made his whole own mythology and whatnot in his collection, so I wonder if maybe it links elsewhere. I don't know. I haven't read anything else of his, so I have no idea. Yeah, but I did feel it was just here you go, here, have a little drop, and then bye.
I know. Literally, this is the first one. I literally have this entire book, and for everybody that's listening, I will show a picture of this later, but it's the Canterbury Classics Tales of Horror. So I have a giant thing, which is beautiful and I love it. And I've literally owned it for 2 years and I still haven't read it. The whole thing. This is the first time I've cracked that bad boy open to read Call of Cthulhu.
It's very pretty. I see you share photos of it. I'm like, ooh.
Look at the inside. Hold on, look at this. The inside art.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's on both the front and the back inside.
Well, I love the gold.
Yeah, it's gold.
Yes.
What is that called? Deckled?
I think it's just painted.
I don't know. I think deckled edges are technically when it's that not uniform pages.
Yeah, it's when they're all choppy and...
Yeah, I love that. I feel like I'm reading an old manuscript when I got deckled edges.
I like it now. I used to hate it. I used to try and cut it off.
No!
I just did not like it as a kid. Now I'm like, ooh, this is kind of cool.
I remember Series of Unfortunate Events when they had those edges and I was like, yes, this is it. I am pristine. I am the visionary of literature. Like, as soon as I got one of those books with like the fancy edges, I just felt like an old researcher, where it's like I had to crack it open to tell people the mystery of the world. I don't know. I just felt fancy.
I love that.
Yeah. Just suddenly gain a doctorate in something like medieval studies. Okay, so part 1 is the horror in clay. And let me just read the quote directly out of it, the first thing that it says, because it's just kind of wild. So I'm just going to straight up read it. I hope this is not copyright infringement, and if it is, I swear I'll take it out. So just let me know. I'll re-edit this entire thing to take this out. Of such powers or beings, there may be conceivably a survival of a hugely remote period when consciousness was manifested, perhaps in shapes and forms long since withdrawn before the tide of advancing humanity, forms of which poetry and legend alone have caught a flying memory and called them gods, monsters, mythical beings of all sorts and all kinds. And this quote is by Algernon Blackwood. And what a strong start. First of all, this low-key makes no sense. I'm going to be honest. You read this straight out and you're like, what are we getting into? What's happening? It sounds like ramblings of a madman. Right off the bat, you're like, all right, everybody in this is about to be crazy because this just, it's just words, fancy words thrown onto a paper. Did you feel that way when you first read that quote?
Yeah, I was like, why is this connected? I was like, question mark.
I know.
I was like, okay, we'll just get into it and just forget about that for now.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we'll throw that on the back burner. I'll come back to that later.
Yeah.
Once you get to the end, you're like, okay, I get it now. But when I first read that, I was like, these are pretty words. Or what's that quote when it's like, I like your funny words, Magic Man. That's what I felt like reading it.
It does. Sound. It just feels like it's kind of thrown together, and it's just like, here you go, have a quote. And it's like, okay.
I know. It's most quotes at the beginning of a chapter lay the groundwork of what you're about to experience, and this did not lay the groundwork. This just was all right, I'm prepared to be confused, I'm going to jump into this I'm reading Shakespearean literature, I guess. We're not going to have any idea what's happening. We're just going to experience it all together.
Basically.
Yeah. I was just I'm just going to throw logic out the window here, I guess. I don't know what's going on. It begins by telling us that humans cannot correlate all of their thoughts together. And once humans can piece together their knowledge, they'll either go mad or flee towards ignorance. And I was like, yeah, okay. Strong start, I guess. Just call us all morons right off the get-go. And the narrator says that they accidentally... First of all, he never tells us the name of the narrator. Did you notice that?
I did. It's just kind of... He just goes through and tells the story and doesn't really... We get the other characters' names, but not whatever his name is.
Yeah. And it's so I guess we're just supposed to be this is some nameless, shapeless man. Or he didn't write the narrator's name so he, quote, wouldn't be found, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe, because that is a big thing of...
Yeah.
Oh, now I know all this stuff. They're coming for me.
I know. And I was just all right, nameless, shapeless human being, I guess. With, to me, I'm I can't even picture what you look like in my head because you don't even have a name. So it's because you always go with the name and you, very specific names have very specific caricatures. A Chad is always a frat boy. A Karen is always a middle-aged white woman with a soccer mom haircut, Name I need to describe you in my head. But now I just have this shapeless figure of the narrator.
He's just there.
Yeah, he's just existing, hanging out, doing nothing for nobody, I guess. So the narrator says that they accidentally pieced together the knowledge of, quote, the thing, unquote, and that they would never knowingly supply anyone else the same information. Which, why are you writing it down? Like, you're saying, oh, I'm never going to give anybody this information. And then you write this down, which then shows up in this book later on.
I know, I thought it was funny. Like, even at the end, it was like, oh, I'm going to have happens to me, this will be destroyed.
I know.
Then why do it?
Literally, I just...
Like, what's the point?
What's the point of writing for the sake of writing? Like, the best kept secrets stay in your head, you know? You
Yeah.
don't just... You're like, oh, I'm going to write down the secret Illuminati password. No, like, that stays in your head. You know, you don't write it down, because if it's written down, anybody can find it.
Exactly.
There's no hiding place that's as good as your brain. Like...
For
that
real.
part...
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that annoyed me. I was like, don't write it down then. So simple. So then the narrator jumps into the story of his, quote, grand uncle, which I've always called it great uncle. Like,
yeah, me too.
Okay, like, I was like, grand uncle, like, weird. But I don't know if that's an American thing, calling it a great uncle, or if people actually say grand uncle, or if that's like one of those things that's died over the centuries kind of thing.
It's possible. I think this was like 1920s he did this.
Yeah.
So it could just be like also a change in dialect over the years.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if it'll tell me in here. Well, it says that this book was made and compiled in 2017, so I have no answers.
I think I was like, because I was looking it up, like stuff about it, and I think it was like 1920, like 8 or something, maybe.
Yeah, that
somewhere
right.
in there.
Yeah, that feels right. Because that would make sense of the way he refers to human beings is lesser than if it was in 1928. So
yeah.
So he tells the story of his grand uncle who died apparently rather suddenly because he took a long trek up a steep hill and then was, quote, jostled by a nautical-looking Negro, unquote. And I just... First of all, this description. There's a lot going on there. Nautical-looking. So we understand that this is a black man, but what does nautical looking mean? Does that mean he's a pirate, or is he a sailor, or like what makes someone nautical looking?
That's what I thought, because I thought like nautical has something to do with sailing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, it just must be like sailor.
Yeah, but it's like,
it's a weird description to use.
Yeah, because I don't know what, like, usually if you think of someone that's like by the ocean a lot, I can't even like frame that in my head as being like what would describe someone that's by the ocean a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
I always
feel like
think like sailor, like the blue and white striped like shirt. And like it was like dark pants, I think. I don't know. I used to see it in cartoons all the time. So like as soon as someone says sailor, that's what my head goes to.
I think
so like that's what I pictured, and I was like, okay.
I go to loose white top with those zigzags and like bell sleeves. Like that's all I've got. Otherwise, I'm like, what makes you nautical looking? If you're not wearing that shirt, you could be anybody, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're going white shirt or blue and white striped shirt with the zigzag tie front situation. And also jostled by, like, did they get in a fight or did he casually kind of bump into this man and the uncle died? Like, I don't know what jostled as a descriptor means, you know, because it's very vague.
Yeah, that was weird. I know he kind of mentioned this incident later on, which kind of described it a little better of like his thought of what actually happened, but like jostled, it just sounds like they like ran into each other on the road, like, oh yeah, shoot, oops, sorry,
bye.
Didn't mean to like run into you.
Yeah.
And then he just like dies, like, okay.
I know. He's like not a good, he doesn't describe these deaths very well because it's like, I can't figure out, even with the later death, I'm like, did they get in a fight? Did they like it just he doesn't describe it at all. He's just like slightly jostled, and you can like, can you elaborate, please? I get this is a short story, but I think you could spare like 5 words to tell me that they got in a small fight or they casually just were passing each other and like shoulder checked each other. Like I need a little bit more description here.
Yeah, exactly. It was just not enough to really get the idea of what happened. I
Yeah,
had to read it like 6 or 7 times because I was like, wait,
I know.
what?
I know. I kept like rereading it and I'm like, no, just jostled. Like I did you go up and shake him in the shoulders? Like you just didn't describe this at all. And like if all these people are dying, I feel like you should describe their death a little bit to like give me that fright. Otherwise, I think anybody that shoulder checks me, I'm gonna die now. Like
Yeah, really. Oh,
at
I'm
all.
gonna bump into somebody and have a heart attack. Oh
Yeah.
man. Maybe
And
I
then
should
he's like,
avoid the public.
yeah, literally. Quarantine is now our friend because we're all avoiding the public together.
Ah, yes, then we're good. We can't be jostled and killed.
I just he describes everything else so elaborately. I just don't understand how he won't describe someone's death.
I know. It's just like I feel like that's a big part, and then it's just like, oh, he died.
I know. It's like a whole in-depth about how humans can't like discover anything. They just exist and they can't make connections in their brain. And then he's like, after that, this man just casually died, as you do. What?
Your words are being put into the wrong paragraphs,
I
please.
know. I'm like, use your word count a little bit later in the next paragraph and tell me how this man died, because that's what I need to know. Like,
Exactly.
you know, I am not scared by the lack of human understanding. I'm more trying to figure out how this guy died so I can possibly avoid death. But
Yeah,
all
we kind
right.
of know about the human condition. We
I
don't
know.
need to be told.
Yeah, I know. I've read enough science. I understand that I am one small fraction of humanity. Um, but please move on so I can, figure out how this man died.
Exactly.
So after giving absolutely no description, um, the narrator starts going through his things and arranging his estate when he finds a locked box, which he then opens by using the ring his grand uncle always wore. First off, how did he even get the ring? Did his grand uncle leave it at home that day that he died? Or after, because usually if you wear a lot, sometimes you get buried with it, you
Yeah,
know?
I think it said he had it in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like he took it out of there after the guy died and was just like, oh, he had a ring in his pocket.
Mm,
But
maybe.
I didn't even really think about that part of it. I was just like, oh, he's really keeping secrets here.
Yeah,
He
and then
wanted that ring to go with him.
I know, I'm like, okay, like, and also crowbars exist. We have some options here. I'm just saying, like, I was confused as to how he even got possession of this ring because it doesn't sound like him and his grand uncle were close by any means. The grand uncle just happened to not have any kids, and he was the only person that took up the will to manage his estate. So I just was like, how'd you even get this ring?
Yeah, really.
So in this locked box, there were some weird clay thing plus notes and cuttings. The figure of the clay thing is, what does he keep calling it?
Like boss relief?
Yeah, boss relief. I was like, I don't even know what that means. So I just call it clay thing or statue throughout my notes because I was like, I don't know what that means. Like,
I didn't understand what it was referring to at first. I was
yeah,
like, what is that? Like, what? Because
yeah.
it was just weird, like, such an odd word to describe it. I was
Mhm.
just like, can we just say statue?
I know. Because
Or,
I've heard of a
like,
bust before, but boss relief, I was like, those words don't mean anything to me.
there's, like, a word for, like, when you make something out of clay before it gets fired. Like, I used to remember, like, in my ceramics class, we called it something. And now I don't remember. I'm like, why couldn't we have just called it that?
Yeah. But it's like I don't even know. Was it I guess it was still wet, right? Like it hadn't dried yet, but it's still just a statue. Or he could have called it an idol or anything like that. Like calling it a bas relief, I don't know if that was ever had meaning, but it didn't have any meaning to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it might have been like one of those word things again of like time period. It meant
Yeah,
something back then
yeah,
and not
true.
so much here now.
Yeah, possibly. I was just like, okay, I don't know what that means, but all right. Um, so the figure is described as having a tentacle head, a grotesque and scaly body, and wings. And the title of the note says Cthulhu Cult. And you said this is pronounced a different way than you thought it was. How'd you find out it was pronounced? Like Cthulhu or something else?
So I was looking up just like different pieces of it after I read it, just
Mhm.
to see like what people might have said or anything. And I found it was like a quote from a letter from Lovecraft to another person that addresses the issue of how to pronounce it.
Mhm.
And it is he says like it's the name of the hellish entity was invented by beings whose vocal organs were not like man's, hence it has no relation to the human speech equipment. The syllables were determined by physiological equipment wholly unlike ours, hence they could never be uttered perfectly by human throats. And the actual sound, as nearly as any human organs could imitate it or human letters record it, may be taken something like Kalalu.
Well,
And like
Kalalu.
I was
First of all,
listening to like videos of how to pronounce it and like
yeah.
it's more like gargly than that. But I'm
All right,
like,
everyone
okay,
Google
I
that at
can
home.
try it. Because everywhere I've heard has been Cthulhu. And then
Yeah.
I got to it and I was like, wait, this has been wrong.
Listen,
This is
I'm gonna
not how
say
you.
it now. I think H.P. Lovecraft was one of those guys that's a Superman splainer. Like he is so full of himself, he's like, it can't even be uttered by the human language. No one can understand me. I'm so deep and dark and brooding. And I'm like, dude, just admit that it's phonetically would be pronounced Cthulhu, and the way that you're trying to make it sound just doesn't exist and it doesn't matter.
Like, even if you were take out the T, it
Hmm.
sounds much more like how he wanted it to sound than what it looks like. Like it's pretty much if you take the T out, it looks almost phonetically the same as what like it says. And I'm like, why would you put the T in then? Like, are you just like throwing in things now? Like, if this is how you wanted it to be said, try and make it look like it.
H.P. Lovecraft is trying to convince us that he didn't just make this entire thing up and that this actually exists. Like, there's no Cthulhu call. Because here's the thing people inherently want to make the world a better place than they left it. No one actually legitimately wants to be evil and cause destruction without any sense of improvement, you know? So it's like he's trying to convince us that there all these people would worship a sort of quote unquote deity that would bring about the destruction and the manslaughter of everyone around them, including themselves. Like no one actually legitimately wants to believe and like leave the world a worse place than they found it. Like every single person, like as part of humanity, wants to cause improvement, which some as an outsider looks upon it and says like that's not the way to go. But everyone inherently tries to do it for, good reasons. So it's like he's trying to say that all these people would join a quote Cthulhu cult and that he just happens to be reporting on what everyone's actually doing and that Cthulhu truly exists. But it's like, then if Cthulhu did exist, you obviously don't understand the basis of this religion because I can guarantee no one's following a giant water monster that, wants to destroy and dismantle the entire world and government and all the people on it to then lead what? Nothing? Sheep, like small animals on the world. Like what? Like he just every time he refers to cults, he describes them as like the end of days, and that they want to bring about the destruction of the world. And I'm like, you know, cults are not all bad.
Usually, like the ones that you see that are like, oh, we need to like get rid of humanity is because they're concerned about like the planet and how we're affecting it. So they're like, oh, we should just get rid of us because
Yeah.
we're the issue. So it's not even like oh, we just want to bring on destruction. It's a way of like saving the universe is like how they have it.
Yeah, so I think that's what bothers me with him trying to say like how to pronounce Cthulhu is like he acts like this is an actual religion that people would partake in worship when in reality it's like something he made up in his little brain.
It just seems like, or at least he should have, when he wrote it, like had something of like, this is how you pronounce it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember reading in the story, it was like, oh, it's just like all these sounds, but it sounded like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like put it phonetically and then like just throwing words
Yeah.
together. If you want people to understand it,
I know.
don't like make it harder for people to understand.
Yeah. Give us that little index in the back. Because the thing is, he's trying to write how these would sound. He wouldn't spell it Cthulhu unless it was pronounced Cthulhu. If you were trying to pronounce it Cthulhu, or however you said it, you wouldn't put a T in there. You would put
Yeah.
like double O's, like you would spell it phonetically because that's your only indication of how it would actually be spelled because you don't have the written language.
Yeah, or like address it somewhere when he like put out the story that like the T is silent. Because
Hmm.
even just saying that like completely like changes how you look at it.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, it's not actually a T, and it's just like, okay. And
Yeah.
especially since this letter was like 1934, it says.
Hmm.
So he's just letting people think of whatever it is for like what, like 6 years or so. I don't know
Yeah.
math, so like we're guessing.
I know.
And it's like
I
it should have been right with it. If that's how you
Mhm.
wanted it, like even like in modern culture, you see it now. Um, in like they have a whole game that's the Call of Cthulhu. You see it in like other things, Cthulhu. It's like that should have been addressed like from day one.
I think he just the way it was spelled, he was like, okay, this is it. And then he never thought about how it would be pronounced. He liked the spelling of it and he was like, all right, cool, we're good. And then he was like, publish it. And then people started saying it and he goes, don't like that. What if instead I pronounced it very like gutturally, like Cthulhu, like
Yeah.
okay, go off H.P. Lovecraft, but I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm gonna call it Cthulhu. I'm not gonna go make like garble sounds and hope that everyone knows what I'm talking about. Like you can do that if you want, but I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, so Cthulhu cult. Moving on. So they also make mention of a witch cult, and I just at this point want to remind everyone that witches are not a cult. And I'm just gonna throw that out there. And anytime that you are like saying that they're a cult, I'm just gonna yell at you. Anyways, you can really see that H.P. Lovecraft has a very narrow look on the world right here because he just references everything as cult-ish, like he talks a lot of trash about the voodoo religion here soon. Is voodoo's a religion, right? Or is it just a practice? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I always thought it was a practice, but it could be just a. I
Yeah.
don't really know. I haven't really like dived into it a whole ton. I
Yeah.
know like a little bit that you see like in like pop culture, but obviously that could be like completely backwards.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure.
I'm going to guess that it's a one of those that could be either, but I'm not going to make a generalized sweep of that because I'm not sure. But he talks a lot of trash about like voodooism and like witches and all that stuff. And he's like, because I think this, no, because this, because there's that Satanist scare. What is that? What was that called? But in like the 80s where everyone was freaking out about Satanists. I forget what that's called. I'll think of it later, but I'll edit it in. For anyone that was wondering, it was called the Satanic Panic, and it took place in the 80s. and it was not a great time, and you can read all about it on the internet if you are interested in this topic, but I will get right back to the episode starting now. But it seemed very much the same, where anything that was like non-Christian or quote other, he was very not okay with. Like, he was very freaked out about anybody that practiced any sort of predating religion to like Christianity and Catholicism. Like, buddy, pagans have been around way longer than Christianity has. So if anything is a scary religion, it could have been Christianity. But, you know, we won't go there, I guess. He's not ready for that conversation.
I've heard a lot about how he just was not like a great guy and has a lot of controversial and problematic stuff in his works, but obviously he's still like talked about because he is such a big step in horror and like cosmic horror and everything. So people obviously refer to him because it is such of that building block of a genre. Yeah. But they're like, okay, he's just not nobody know.
I know. I heard a little bit about like him being kind of, you know, not a great person, and I was like, okay, you know, I'll just keep that in mind. I'll keep it on the back burner, and I'll think about it while I read, you know, so I can read it a little bit more critically. But like, I didn't even have to read critically. It's right there in your face. There's not a single woman, you know, in this entire story. And because I was like, okay, like in my brain, I am used to the 21st century where, you know, you would at least counter a single female in the entire story. He did not talk about one. Every single character in this entire story was a male.
Wasn't there like the wife at the very end of that like sailor guy that like he shows up and she's like, oh, he's dead, and then they're like, that's hey, here, do you want this? That I was like, I think that's the only female in it.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like I did not have to think critically about this at all. Everybody is white, everyone is male. Great, love that.
Pretty much, yeah. He's just flat out just, here you go.
Yeah, he's like, oh, woman can be human? ? Other than wife? ? Like, buddy, get it together. And, you know, he just, okay, we'll get back into it because I know I'm going to get to a couple parts in here where we'll have to break it down for a second because terrible trash bag human. So, Henry Anthony Wilcox had been the one to give his grand uncle the statue, and apparently Henry is a super loner, but mostly because he tells really strange stories and it freaks everyone out. So Henry gave the statue to his granduncle and had asked him to identify the hieroglyphs that are on it. The professor could tell that the statue had been newly created, so he was really annoyed with, you know, Henry coming up and asking about it, because he's like, did you make this in your basement, buddy? Because, like, it's very new. So after the meeting, the professor had an awful nightmare about a city covered in green ooze and chanting of Cthulhu Fitagun is my guess of what this is, but it's Cthulhu Ftagn. My brain says Fitagun, and that's as much as I'm going to try and pronounce it because I have no idea.
Who knows? If he's just throwing in like random like letters that are silent, it could be anything.
Yeah, it could have just been Fitagun, you know, or it could have been Ik.
Yeah.
It could be anything. We have no idea.
Oh man.
But all I'm saying is, if someone tells you something and you have no idea what it means, you would spell it phonetically. I don't understand why he's just like, oh yeah, it's pronounced differently than it's written. No, it wouldn't be, because you have no idea what this means. So obviously you'd write all your notes phonetically.
Yeah. I usually, like, I've noticed when people create, like, new languages for, like, fantasy or something, if it's not already written like phonetically, they include like, oh, hey, this is how it works.
Yeah.
Just so you know. And
Yeah.
it's just like, why? Why couldn't he have done this? With
Mm-hmm.
everything that he says, writes in this,
Mm-hmm.
you'd think it would have at least something to go off of.
Yeah. But it's like he says he hears the words in his dream. So it's like if you're hearing the words, you would have no idea how it would be spelled except for phonetically in whatever language you already speak. So it's like
Yeah.
if you speak German and you're hearing chanting, you're not going to write that in English because you, like, if you don't know English, because you would have no idea how it would be spelled. So I just don't understand why he wouldn't spell it phonetically. I can't keep going on this tangent. I'm just annoyed about it. So, okay, so he goes back and questions Henry, and Henry doesn't know anything about the cult, so he asks him to report all of his dreams. So Henry gives daily reports of his dreams, and the most common words he hears are Cthulhu, and every time I read it, I say Riley.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was like, Riley.
Yeah,
I'm like,
or it
that's
could be like
definitely not what it is, but going with
Riley,
it.
Riley. I don't
Yeah.
know. This has now turned into a podcast of me just repeating phonetically. But, phonetically, again, you would not put R apostrophe Lyeh, because phonetically that means nothing. So it's like, where did the
Yeah.
apostrophe come from, buddy? Like, are you seeing visions of the way these words are spelled, or what's driving you to spell it this way? Because that's not phonetic at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense. I was so confused every time like, the chant farther down was, like,
Mm-hmm.
all written out. And I was like, I'm just gonna skip over it because I don't
I
even
know.
want to try.
I know. It's like these are garbo words. These are mumbles. I have no idea what this means. So I just skipped over it and looked at the translation. First of all, how do they even translate it? That's my next question. Because this isn't like, from my understanding, this has no basis in any sort of language because it predates human speech for whatever reason. So it's like, if how would you even translate this? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was getting I like wrote down multiple times, especially towards like the third part. I was like, aliens.
I know. That's basically what it sounds like. I
Like,
don't know.
there's just so many like bits and pieces that I was like, I think this is almost like alien-esque.
Because he
I'm
says
like,
they
which
came
would
from the sky, so
Yeah, I'm like, which would explain the weird like syllables, but like still you wouldn't know how to like write them.
yeah. So after that, Henry suddenly got sick and has remained unconscious. After Henry recovered, he has no more dreams at all and became useless to the professor. Which, like, Henry's lucky going off of what else everybody else experienced after this. Henry gets to live and everyone else is dying all around him.
I know, and
So,
even like when he was like in his like feverish state, it said something like the other artist in the building was like in some kind of delirium and
mhm,
almost like experiencing stuff. So it's
yeah.
almost like he was affecting everybody else as well. And then it just stopped. And like that was when I was like, is this like a paranormal entity?
I know. I was
Because
like,
I was like, that sounds very paranormal, supernatural kind of thing.
mhm, yeah. So the professor questions Henry's friends to see if anyone had similar nightmares, and all his sciencey friends didn't. And some people had uneasy nightmares that never took form, and that was during the time that Henry was sick. But his artist friends, however, reported truly bizarre dreams. Someone apparently went, quote, violently insane, as you had mentioned, um, on the day that Henry had a seizure and fell ill. So, first of all, why did the science, quote, logical, unquote, type people not have any nightmares, but for some reason Cthulhu cares about your profession enough to only give nightmares to the artist people? Like,
Yeah, that was weird to me. I was like questioning that as well. I was like, does it have to do something with like left and right brain dominance? Because I
yeah.
know like there was something, I don't know if it's still like scientifically correct when I was younger. It was like artists and creative people use one side of their brain more, and then like logic uses the other side more. So I was like,
Yeah,
is it
I've heard that.
something with that? I was like, that's the only thing I could think of that like not everyone was affected, or especially when it's like science versus artists.
Yeah. I don't
Like,
know. It was
what
really
would
weird.
like? There's gotta be some kind of divide there.
I know. I was
It's
like,
just like,
okay. And also, why does this guy that they say is pretty much crazy have science friends? Because he says like
yeah,
no one wants to talk to him. Everyone thinks he's really weird, and suddenly he has like sciency friends, which I was like, okay, like interesting.
yeah, that was really like weird, especially.
Yeah. So part two, the tale of Inspector Legrassi,
I was
Legaras.
thinking like lacrosse. I think it's probably related to French, just
Yeah,
because of New Orleans. So that's what was
yeah.
I was pronouncing it as.
Yeah, I did not do well in my French classes, so I'm gonna just pardon myself here until someone could tell me how it's actually pronounced. Because apparently, even though this book says it's phonetic, nothing's phonetic, but it's fine. I'm not gonna get too butthurt about it, only a little bit. So now we've shifted scenes to 1908, 17 years ago, when the professor went to a conference. Many people come to him during the entire conference to like get advice, I guess. And one person really stood out, and he was an inspector of the police who brought a weird old statue. Which, first of all, this entire thing is just like this cop comes to a conference, shows up, and's like, "Hey, look at my statue." Like, would you not make some call as a police officer before I just show up to an archaeology conference? I think I would make some calls in the area. It didn't say that he had any sort of ideas or that he had made any calls previous to this. Like this would be like a last resort type thing for me, like showing up at some random conference with a bunch of college professors and be like, "Hi, look at my," you know?
Yeah, it said he was like talking to some of the people that were there, but they were like, huh, "No, we're not telling you anything."
Yeah.
So like maybe that was like him like his last scenario was going there, but obviously we don't get that because it's short.
Yeah.
But it was like, you would think that he'd go and check things out first.
Mm-hmm.
This section kind of confused me too because like the timeline was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Because
it
it
talks
goes
about the
back, forth, back, forth.
professor like talking about it, and then it was like right back into like it happening. I
Yeah,
was like, wait, where am I in
I know.
time right now?
A lot of flashes. I have a lot of inherent problems with this as well. So, like, I'm going to start going through it and then I'm going to keep pausing as I talk about my grievances with this entire plot right now. So, the statue had been captured during a raid on a quote, voodoo meeting, unquote. And first of all, what right does a police officer have barging into someone's, you know, ceremony of sorts, because we don't have any context right now. So I was immediately angry that like a cop thought he could just, come in to a, whether it's a religious or ceremonial gathering of people and just steal something and break it apart. We get a little more context later on, but I was just immediately mad about this.
Yeah, I was like, why are they rating it? Like, I was like, I was like, was there something else going on there that they
Yeah,
thought something was happening? Because, like, why would you just go? It's not like you'd go raid a church and, like, take the
hmm
cross off the wall and run away with
I
it.
know. It's
I
like,
was like, okay, can we have a little more detail? Like,
mhm.
or is this just really how you think of the voodoo culture of, like, oh, it's just so bad, we're just going to send the police in anyway?
I know. I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's just the 2020 world that we're in. But as soon as I saw that they had, quote, raided a religious practice, I was like, great. So things have really not gotten any better. I was just, of course they would. That's a thing to do, I guess, and just steal a statue that doesn't belong to you as quote evidence. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like I'm not surprised, but I was still angry about it. So, and then let me just read this quote directly out that he says next. Quote, they had stumbled on a dark cult totally unknown to them and infinitely more diabolic than even the blackest of African voodoo circles. Unquote. He literally wrote this in the book.
Yeah, I highlighted that and I was like, okay.
I'm just going to read my note that I wrote right after that. Please be more racist, H.P. Lovecraft. It wasn't nearly obvious enough with this statement alone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get that in magic circles, there's technically white magic and, black magic and then gray magic. Like, I get that. But I have a feeling that he was not referring to white magic and black magic in the quote blackest of African voodoo circles. I have a feeling that he was referring to other things. And it does not sit right with me. This entire statement makes me uncomfortable. I do not like it. And also voodoo is not inherently evil. Like, you can really, if you pull apart any religion, any practice, anything, you can see the good and bad of all of it. But it's like people like to, especially in pop culture, take a religion that they do not understand and that they do not have any intention of understanding and turn it into something inherently evil. And it's like this is what he's doing with any sort of religion that's not Christian based, and it really bothers me. Like it really bothers me throughout the entire story. It's just the amount of times that he has to take someone's religion and someone's not, I'm sorry, I don't know that voodoo is a religion, but someone's, I guess, culture is the best way that I know how to describe it, and just turn it into something evil. And every single time that he references it, he references it in an evil context, and it just really irks me.
Yeah, because even every religion and every culture has just usually what it is, and then the people who take it too far, who turn it into something it's not and make it to the point where it's just something completely wrong, Muslims and terrorists. Everyone immediately assumes that Muslims are terrorists. It's not. They're not. It's just those select few people who just go haywire with it, and now it's oh, now all of you are like that, and it's no.
Well, it's like the
No,
bigots in
that's not it.
Christianity, you can say the same thing about Christianity. There's this what is it, Westboro Baptist Church?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, those are horrible, horrendous people. It doesn't mean that all of the Christian religions and everything that's encompassed in those are terrible religions, but obviously, and with everything, there's a select few that are horrible and so horrendous that it
taints the rest of it.
Yeah. So it's
that's
just
what people think of now. They're oh,
Mhm.
that's what it is. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Westboro? Yeah.
Yeah, Westboro.
Is Christianity, terrorist is Muslim, and it just goes through all of them. And it's you get maybe one dark cult in voodoo, and it's okay, well now they're all that. It's no.
It's there's not enough.
How it is.
There's not enough quantity of people to stand up for these other cultures, whereas there's a lot of the world is Christian because of the forced colonization of the world. So there is a large amount of people that will be well, not all Christians, but you can't do that. There's just not enough people that can do that with the other cultures, where people just readily believe that these other religions and these other cultures are inherently evil because they won't believe the small minority of people that are unlike them and they see as other, which I just think's trash. And it's really thrown in your face throughout H.P. Lovecraft's work that he thinks that these other cultures are just inherently evil. And I'm buddy, get a grip.
Doesn't hold back. It's just here you go. And it's no. Okay.
Yeah, it's no. Get a grip, buddy. It's really bad. So, moving past that and his inherent racism throughout this entire story, everyone at the conference passes a figure around so that they can analyze it. And in analyzing the statue, they realize that they don't even know what material it's made out of. Like, it's not a material that anyone's seen before. And, like, these are, quote, the great white minds of the time, who probably only look into Western civilizations and the world that the Western civilizations grew into. But, you know, we'll just, you know, brush on past that because that's another long podcast of a couple hours that I don't even really want to get into. I'm just aggravated, but it's fine. So the only person at the entire conference who had any kind of knowledge was someone named Professor Webb, who studies anthropology. And Professor Webb apparently came across a cult of, quote, devil worshippers, unquote. And I just, okay, again, I can't even leave this alone. I can't get through one sentence of this book without getting mad. Like, he just assumes anybody that doesn't worship, you know, God is a devil worshiper. And, like, Cthulhu is other. Cthulhu isn't the devil. So it's like he's just looking at anybody that's just not practicing a religion that he understands as devil worshippers. Like, that bothers me because it's like you're not understanding the world or anything that predates what your own knowledge is. Like, you cannot be a studier of the world and religions and, you know, everything around it and assume that anything that's like what you haven't heard of is devil worship. I just do not like it. It annoys the living daylights out of me. It bothers me a lot.
I wrote down right next to, like, around that section, it was like, we fear what we do not know.
Yeah, that's literally what happens. Is this entire book is just him fearing something that's other, something that he doesn't understand. And it's like, that does not scare me. I am interested in things that I don't understand. Whereas H.P. Lovecraft is like, oh, you don't understand this, so it is inherently evil and bad. And you're like, no, like, either tell me what it is so I can make that judgment call myself, or just do not put your biased, like, lack of understanding and ignorance into the world, you know?
Yeah, it's one thing to, like, fear, like, the unknown. It's another to, like, just flat out be like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like flat out just, like, he goes, oh, they were practicing devil worship. Like, you don't know what they were practicing.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, it could be some weird, like, they're worshiping God, but it's just not what you think it is. So now it's immediately devil worship. And it's like,
I know.
You gotta take the moment to stand it. Like even if it is, like, a scary thing. Like,
yeah,
you know, there are scary things out there, but, like, it's not bad just because you don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like how people are all about how Satanists worship the devil, where they literally don't. Like, if you look into what they actually worship, they are called Satanists because Christians didn't understand what they were practicing. And it's like, I feel like the same thing's happening here. Like, they're just using devil worshippers as a, like, umbrella term without actually investigating what's going on. And it just annoys me because I'm like, I would like to learn more. I am interested. I'm intrigued. Tell me your stories and do not gatekeep from me, you know? And he's like, I'm just going to throw this under the word devil worship and you guys will just believe me because I am all knowing. And I'm like, no, I won't. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he says they apparently participate in human sacrifices, which I'm like, of course, you know, anything that's just like, every time they just throw out human sacrifices, I feel like they expect me to go, oh no, the horror. But I'm like, do they really? Or are you just telling me that they participate in human sacrifices? Because there's a line there, you know, like there's a, you know, you could say they participate in human sacrifices, but, like, are they dead? Can you name the people who are involved? Or are you just saying that because it's something you don't understand?
Yeah, it's almost like a, I want to make this as scary as possible and so far from my religion that I'm just throwing it in there and not being like, this is actually a part of their thing. And, like, like, it's one, like, if he wasn't so just, like you said, umbrella terming everything, I'd be more like, okay, maybe, like, yes, they are doing this human sacrifice, but it's because he's just so, like, against it. It's like, okay, are they really now?
Yeah, it feels like a very colonizer mindset, where
Yeah.
it's like everyone has to believe what I believe, and if you don't, then you're bad. And it's just some like human sacrifice. Really, like tell me their names, okay? Like I want to know who was sacrificed because I don't believe you at all.
I know, like I'm like I'd be intrigued if that's what they were actually doing.
And then it's like
Like
for what motive, like
yeah,
why?
exactly. It's like you got to tell me why. Like why are
Hmm.
they human sacrificing? Is it some like why?
Yeah, are we sacrificing the humans to so that they can then live forever and be other worlds, or like what's the point, if there's no point to it, no one
Exactly.
just like sacrifices them for fun, like
Yeah.
is it so that the rest of the populace can then get immortality, like
Yeah, there's got to be some motive because like offerings is usually like fruit of like the harvest and like
mhm.
a pig or a goat or something. It's
Yeah,
not, oh hey, let's take our kid and just like
throw them in the fire, or it's like even
yeah.
like people do in their modern practices fun offerings of like cool things they found on the ground, cool rocks or like money, it's like humans are, no one want, like think about it, if you're a deity, what benefit do I have of having a dead human? Nothing. There's no benefit that could serve me. Cool rocks, now I have a cool rock,
Yeah,
or like
exactly.
money, now I have material wealth. Cool shirts, I now have a cool shirt. But it's like a dead human, you're like, great, I didn't want Chad, just throw him back, like
Yeah.
what, that doesn't serve me
All
anything.
you really get out of it is like the heart of the person that did it. Like now you know, oh hey,
Yeah.
this person's just willing to do whatever.
Hmm.
And it's just like I remember because I was raised Christian, there was one where God was like, "Oh, you got to sacrifice your kid," and so the guy was like, "Oh crap!" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I guess I got to do this," and so he went to go do it, and God's like, "No, no, 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 I
Yeah.
didn't like, no, just go get the goat. I tied a goat
Yeah.
up around the corner. Go get that instead." He's
Yeah.
like, "I was just testing you. I don't actually want you to kill him."
Yeah. And you're like, okay.
I was like, "Oh, okay, well." I'm like, it's a good thing he didn't actually want it, but it's
Yeah.
like it was
Well,
a
it's like,
test.
it's a good thing that God didn't come in 5 minutes later and then he'd have a dead son. And then you'd be like, oh, you
Yeah,
were
really. It's like,
joking.
okay. It's just like I don't know any like deity that would want like human sacrifice, really.
Yeah.
Except maybe like I don't know, like
I
it's
mean,
just hard. It would be like a test almost. Like,
yeah,
will
it's
you
like
do it?
even Hades, God of the underworld, he's God enough. He doesn't need another one. It's like there's really no purpose that a human soul can serve any sort of deity when they can just access them anyways. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's just like there's no reason besides I guess testing them and seeing if they'd
yeah,
follow you through. And at that point it's like then just stop it.
I know. I really just think he was um going on like devil hysteria and just could not understand that there's religions outside of his own that exist without being inherently evil, and it just annoys the living dead to me.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me. Was he's just
Yeah.
like trying to make it sound as horrible as possible with no like meaning behind why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, this is funny. I thought this was going to be like a quick 30-minute, you know, like little special because it's like, oh, I'll put this out on the Friday before Halloween and people can enjoy it. And I'm like, devil worship and everything and paganism, and we're going to talk about it. And then, now we're only halfway through and it's already an hour in. But it's fine. It'll be a very long Halloween special that everyone can enjoy. And yeah.
I noticed that. I was like, oh wow, I did not think it was gonna go
Yeah.
this long. We're like halfway through.
I know. Anyways, so the police officer and the Professor Webb compare notes and they realize that the rituals are identical. First of all, Professor Webb is hearing this all secondhand. Not even secondhand, like third, at least third hand. What is third hand? second hand is someone that was actually there. I don't even know what you call it once you get to the third person. By that point, you can't trust anything because the second guy could have exaggerated, and now the third guy's exaggerating to tell it to Professor Webb.
Yeah,
But
it's like a bad game of telephone.
yeah, the police officer wasn't even at the ritual. He just shows up at the very end, starts breaking it apart. So how are they comparing notes of this ritual? Because neither was there. So he's like, yeah, they're comparing notes and they're realizing it's identical. No, you're not.
Yeah, like the only one that would have the knowledge would be like the officer because he came in like in the middle of it. So like he'd hear things.
Yeah, he'd hear things and then he interviewed these people at the end. So it's like he would have more knowledge than Professor Webb, who has some random source that happened to have heard it from some man that says he knows what they're talking about when he could have gone completely off rumor. Like, we don't know who this other guy's source is.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly. Like
So
in this scene, it's like almost like the police officer has more knowledge than the guy who's going to ask for help.
Yeah. So it's
like
okay. I don't know why the cop is still digging. That's my thing. I'm like, buddy, you've got your answers, you know? You know what you know. You saw what you saw. Why are you still concerned? Like, what's this gonna benefit you in any way? Like, you arrested the people that you think have caused this issue. What benefit do you have from finding out the whole, like, rest of this religion? Like, are they paying you as a cop to go investigate the rest of this? Like, I don't feel like that they want to uncover, like, your police department in New Orleans wants to uncover this entire conspiracy of the rest of this religion, you know?
Yeah, it's like, unless there was something that would make them feel like they had to go search it out, like, they've got the people. They'd probably put like the little statue or whatever they took into evidence and it would just go like in the back room and just be there until like 20 years down the road they get another instance of the same thing and just do the same thing over and over because I think it said that they had like bodies hanging, like the bodies are right there. You don't have to go investigating or asking anybody anything, so your investigation essentially is done.
Yeah.
So
it's like basically everyone
like,
admitted to it.
What's his motive?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's just morbid curiosity or if, like, it's just a plot thickener. Like, for some reason, this police officer needs to travel halfway across the United States to go talk to people in San Francisco. No, not San Francisco. I don't know where this meeting is. But, like, why are you reaching out to all these professors to, you know, find this out when your investigation's done?
Yeah, exactly. It just seems like so out of character. And even if it had just been like, you know, he was curious and he heard this was going on and thought, hey, I'll take it from evidence. It's like even that gives you more answers than what's on the page.
Because it's like at this point, the police are losing funds to follow this dead end and this trail that shouldn't lead anywhere because it has no connection to what happened. You know? I don't know. So they share the words that the people chanted, but I'm only going to share the translation, which was in his house at Riley, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. And for some reason, they continuously chanted this over and over and over, which doesn't even make for a ritual. Okay, you're just saying a phrase, and it's just, you know, ending.
Yeah, like. I think was it in this? I can't remember. If I thought at some point it was like it came back to like the lore of like they came from the stars and like it had to align first. So like they were waiting for them to align so he could wake up.
Yeah.
And that was like the left dreaming part, but it was just like what the like it just made no sense. And then, like how you said before, like how did they translate it?
Yeah.
Like who could do that?
I don't know how they translated it first off. Second of all, if it's a ritual, you don't just repeat one line of text over and over and over and over again. You know, there's usually a sort of story or some sort of flow, I mean, or if it's a ritual, you're doing it to cause something to happen. So you would speak into words what you want to happen. You know, it's not like okay, most of us are familiar with Christian religion. So think about in like your Catholic mass when they do first communion, they say how they want the body to turn into wine, and the body to turn into bread and his blood to turn to wine. You speak into what you want to happen. This doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like a saying that,
mhm.
like, why would you say it over and over again? It would make sense if it's like, this is what is, um, I lost my train of thought. It just like,
Yeah, I feel that.
it makes sense if almost like it was like part of like, almost like a song that you kind of like
Mhm.
say over again. Um,
I get it as a mantra or like a basis, but like
but
it
like,
doesn't make sense in a ritual.
yeah, there should be a lot more to it. And it sounds
Mhm.
almost like it's part of almost like a prophecy type thing, which
Yeah,
that's usually not repeating the same thing over and over again. It's
yeah.
like a chunk. So unless they were saying like the whole thing over and over again, and that's the
Mhm.
only part they got, like that would make
Yeah.
sense. But it's like it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like
But
it's just this.
yeah. It just doesn't make sense because as a ritual, you're driving something to happen. You do a ritual to, you do a ritual to get rain for your next harvest. You do a ritual to have a good growing season. You do all these different rituals so that like you create the future that you want. What does this say? This doesn't say anything. It says the
Yeah,
current state of things in which you would have no reason to have a ritual if you're just repeating what's currently happening. That's just a news bulletin. That's not a ritual. Like,
exactly.
we can talk all day about what's currently going on, but if you're creating a ritual, you're either trying to wake up Cthulhu, in which the wording would then be different,
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
you know, you wouldn't be doing something just keeping it the same. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I really don't think he understands religions outside of his own, or that he could think critically enough to be like, okay, if I'm creating this entire religion, this entire ritual, what do you need? What's the basis?
Yeah,
He did not go in deep dive into that. And I think that's what inherently bothers me because it's lazy writing.
yeah. Because Christianity, as far as I know, doesn't really have rituals. Like you pray for things,
Hmm.
but like you can do that at home by yourself. It's not like you gather together and
Yeah.
do that.
But like that's sort of even praying for something is a type of ritual.
Yeah,
It's,
it's just not like a gathering like they
yeah.
have.
I mean, churches, though, if you think about it.
Yes, that's true.
So it's like, but if I'm trying to create a religion, I would analyze and do these certain things and then make it believable. This man didn't even try and make it believable. That's just how I feel. So, anyways, um, they finally start giving some context. Apparently, in New Orleans, people were being terrorized and women and children disappeared overnight. The people thought that it was voodoo. And okay, so I think the thing that bothers me is he says that the people that reported this were squatters, you know? So if you're trying to get rid of people, I would understand them trying to get rid of people that are squatting on their land. Like, I would get that. But I don't know. This entire ceremony thing was just weird to me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I. It just seemed weird how it all happened. It just did not seem like it had like a correct. Not, I mean, not really correct. Like, I don't know. The best way I can describe it is like a train of thought. Like, it just kind of
Hmm.
seemed scrambled in together, and it's like it didn't really feel like thought out enough to be believable in a way.
Yeah. And then, so he says the police officer comes and they're having a voodoo orgy. And in that moment, I was like, this H.P. Lovecraft does not know what an orgy is. Like, he just describes them as being naked and just outside running around. I'm like, buddy, an orgy is a little bit different than what you think it is because they are not just naked. And, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
I was like, that's not what you think it is, I guess. You innocent, innocent man. Um,
Really.
Yeah, so the police officers get there, and apparently there's a ring of bodies and a ring of fire and people chanting. And if this is not what every horror movie says that cults are, I don't know what is. Like, this is so stereotypical. He's just like, cult activity. All right, what do I need? Fire, check. Human sacrifice, check. Chanting, check. All right, we're good. We got a cult now. Like, that's
Yeah.
basically what happened here. So essentially, he says that these people who did the ritual are of, quote, mixed blood, unquote. Which, what does this even mean? Like, obviously, I understand this means they're not white, but describing someone as mixed blood just seemed off kilter to me. I was like, that's a phrasing I've never
Yeah.
heard.
It was just weird. It was like, what do you mean by that? Because it could mean a ton of different things.
Yeah,
Like, it could mean that they're not like they're like a mix of like different races. It could mean like just everybody there is like a different like race, gender,
yeah,
like, you know, like what do you mean by mixed blood? Like it
yeah,
doesn't really describe it well enough.
yeah. I basically wrote that I feel like he was using this to write it off as saying these people weren't white. And it
Yeah.
made me think of him as even more of a dirtbag than I already thought he was. Because even when it describes all the different races, he just basically says, like, anything that's not white that he could seem to think of, he just wrote down that.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah. So, these people worshipped, quote, the great old ones, unquote, which, sorry, came before man, and their dead bodies are now inside the earth and under the sea.
Yeah. And like their dead bodies tell their secrets to dreams to men.
And
I was
then,
like, this is where I was like, okay, I feel like we're getting into aliens.
yeah, but then it goes from saying that they're dead bodies to that they have no human form and that they're hibernating. So I'm like, which is it?
I know. It was weird. Like, I was like, okay, I can get the hibernating, but like, then why would they be dead?
Yeah, I'm like, they're
Is it like
sleeping.
they're being like reborn when this comes along and they're
I don't
not
know.
going to come back to that body?
I really don't know.
But that was like the first time I was like, okay, are we getting into like alien stuff
Yeah,
here? Because this really feels like coming from the sky. And
yeah, I
then
really
like
do think it's aliens.
they have like paranormal tendencies of
Mm-hmm.
like the guy like when in his like terror and got all these other people to feel it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, huh.
Yeah, I was like, okay, great. Like, love to see it. So, Cthulhu is said to be the priest, and that would one day bring Earth under his sway. So I'm like, is he a priest or is he a ruler? Because those are two very different jobs with two different needs. You know?
Yeah, I was questioned because it sounded at first like he was one of like the old ones.
Hmm.
And then it was like, no, he's not. He's almost like their guardian.
Yeah.
And then like further down, it was like he is like above all of them. I'm like, so is he one of them? Is he a god above them? Is he
Yeah.
their guardian and just kind of like guards their sleeping place? Like, what
Yeah.
are you actually supposed to be doing here?
He's wearing a lot of hats. This must be like a small business. It's mom and pop shop, and he's got to not only be the receiving manager, but he also has to be customer service, call center, everything. I'm kind of feeling bad for our homeboy Cthulhu now because it sounds like he is unappreciated in his work environment.
He got the short end of the stick and
Yeah,
has to deal with it all.
he has to
Well,
meet with
like
the humans,
the
you
other ones
know.
just sleep.
Yeah, everyone else gets to sleep, enjoy their years of nap time, and Cthulhu, our main man here, has to listen and try and communicate with humans for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, and he's getting no appreciation from his supervisors.
Basic, or he is the supervisor and all the employees are napping.
Yeah, either way, jeez, poor Cthulhu, man. Now I'm gonna get like Someone makes that into a shirt, let me know. I want the shirt that says Poor Cthulhu. Actually, wait, I kind of might make that a shirt. Hold on. If I can figure out how to make merch, that's going to be the first one. Poor Cthulhu. And just like a sad little drawing caricature of like
Oh my god,
Cthulhu.
that'd be adorable.
Oh, I need it. I want to wear that. I'll make a Patreon, and one of my goals will be merch. Everyone submit your drawing ideas, that fan art, let me know. I want baby, tiny, like, what is that called? A chibi? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
that's something like, yeah.
So, yeah, just send that to me at Barely Bookish on all the platforms. I want to see it. I want to make it my phone wallpaper. Thank you. So the great old ones are being preserved in their houses by spells that Cthulhu cast on them to keep them alive while they wait for the world to, quote, be ready for them, unquote. They can only speak to mankind in their dreams. Otherwise, they cannot be understood.
I wonder if that comes back to, like, why we get the pronunciation of, like, maybe in the dreams they can, like, transcend that language barrier.
Yeah.
And so that's how people have figured it out, because they're like, oh, I know what that means because I've heard it and, like, I know it. But it also, like...
Yeah. Still feels like a cop-out. If you can understand English enough to be able to, like, throw that into our brain, I think you can do that all the time, Yeah. Like, you obviously have mystical enough powers to make people dream it. I think you can just look them in the eye and speak into their brain. It's the same, like, concept,
I just thought of when you were, like, saying that, like, he was, like, watching them in their sleeping place, and, like, he was guarding them. The whole chant is, like, in his house, he waits dreaming.
Yeah.
So, like, wait, is he asleep or is he not?
Well, it says something about Cthulhu being dead, too. So it's like, if he's dead and dreaming like everybody else, who's watching all of them?
Yeah. It's very confusing of what we're supposed to, like...
believe, I guess.
Yeah.
Can I do a Ouija board to H.P. Lovecraft and be like, some questions, first off. 1, how racist were you? Scale 1 to 10. 2, do you know that there's other religions outside of Christianity? And 3, what? At Cthulhu, what? Couple questions. First off, how'd you try to persuade us that it's not pronounced Cthulhu? Are we supposed to imagine that they're getting, like, text in their brain so it's, like, written out? Because that's the only way that this would not be spelled phonetically. I don't...
Yeah, exactly. Like, why? Just why? At this story, why?
Yeah, literally. I feel like I should have live tweeted my reactions to it. Basically, I feel like that's what podcast is. Verbal live tweeting.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So when they're all freed, they're going to do is, quote, shout and kill and teach the humans how to do so. Like, I think we all know how to shout and kill people. Like, yeah. I think we've got that basis covered, so I'm not sure. Like, you're telling me there's no other incentive for human beings than to do something we already know how to do.
Yeah, really. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and then...
Why do we need you to tell us how to do that? Unless you, like, got some special way that we want to learn about. Like, you got some secrets in there. Okay, like...
What's the secret sauce to murder?
Like, yeah. What's the recipe? How do we do it? How do we make it good?
I mean, if Cthulhu really wants to take over the world, and then he kills everyone that lives on the world, no one's going to worship him. So what benefit does it serve? I don't understand. And you're telling me that these people are just chaos deities, Maybe they are aliens and they want to kill off humans to then, take over. But I truly believe that if there is aliens out there, it serves them no purpose to kill off human beings because, they can either teach us how to grow, or it incentivizes them to form trade.
They're probably like, what are these beings and why are they? We're just, no, we're done. We're not even going there.
But it's like, if you look at us, like, imagine how we look at puppies, you know? Puppies are adorable. They are small, and we have to take care of them and protect them. I feel like that's how we would be to aliens. Whereas even if you get a dog that's like rowdy and kind of annoying, you still love it because it's small and it doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
That's humankind to aliens, I feel like. And so it's like, I don't understand what incentive Cthulhu would have to kill off the entire human race. Then what? You just have an empty planet?
Yeah.
What kind of fun is that?
It's got to be some kind of other motive for him to want to do that.
I really just think he did Cthulhu dirty here. I really do.
Poor Cthulhu.
Seriously, though, I want that on a shirt. So after learning about all of this, the investigator tried to meet with more people, but he was unable to learn anything more. After all this time, the police still had the statue. Like 17 years later, the police officer still has the statue. So our narrator still at this point does not believe, and he tries to discredit Henry, the original guy who brought the statue the first time. Henry is still alive and has turned into a better artist. After visiting him, the narrator actually believes that he's being sincere, but thinks that perhaps he somehow heard about the Cthulhu cult and just kind of threw it on the back burner and forgot about it, and then he started dreaming about it. So the narrator thinks that, I just said that, sorry. The narrator is beginning to suspect that his uncle's death was far from natural, and he thinks that he may have learned too much. Which I'm like, yeah, buddy, obviously no one just gets like bumped into and dies. What?
Yeah, really. I was thinking that like the Henry guy was like some kind of prophet, because like he talks all about it, but like he's got like no knowledge of it.
Yeah.
And obviously when he had like his issues, he was like, other people around him were having dreams and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like he was like a vessel that just kind of like sprouted it out. And because he has so little knowledge, they're just like, okay, you can just stay there because you actually have no idea what's going on. We just used you for like 20 minutes and now we're good.
My guess was that Henry was accidental interference. So he was like, Cthulhu was trying to like project that to like his prophets that are already around the world and like the people that worship him. He was like trying to be like, hey, look, listen to this. This is where I live. This is my house. Welcome to MTV, my crib. And Henry accidentally picked up on all of it, was my guess. So he wasn't even supposed to get any of it. And then Cthulhu was like, oh, my B, this was a private showing. I'm just going to cause you to, have a little bit of a sickness for about a week, and then you're gonna forget this ever happened.
Yeah, because he just like, he had no knowledge. Like it was just like the statue he made, and the dreams he had was like it, and he was just like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I just had these dreams, and look, I can paint them, and I made a statue out of it, but that's all I got here.
I know.
So like he's not a threat like the professor uncle was, because he knew things. Whereas Henry's just like riding the coaster of, look at these cool things I saw.
I know. So part 3, the madness from the sea. So as our narrator is visiting a museum that his friend owns or something, he happens to see a paper scrap in which he sees another sign of Cthulhu. So in this scrap, there had been 2 people aboard a boat that was found. One man had been dead at least a week. The other man was clutching a strange idol that they found in the cabin of the ship. So it goes on to say that the survivor, and starts going and talking about the story, the survivor of the boat had been thrown off course by a storm on March 1st, and on March 22nd encountered pirates, ? That told them to turn around, and when they refused to turn around, the pirates attacked the ship, and they had to kill all of the pirates to survive. So First of all, you don't have to kill everyone aboard. You have to take prisoners. Like, that's the law to verify your story. Otherwise, it's murder. You know, like, if
Yeah.
no one's there to say, oh, we totally had to defend our lives, no one is going to believe you. You just killed a bunch of men. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, you're totally innocent. You totally had to do that. It's not just because they were in your way or that they had gold. Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally believe
you're
that.
gonna have like some kind of like prisoner or some kind of like souvenir of
Yeah.
like, hey, this happened,
Yeah.
and like you can verify it. Instead, they just roll up like with one dead guy and this guy holding a statue, like,
Yeah.
hi, we're back.
Yeah, he's like on a stolen ship too. It's like, so yeah, I totally believe that you had to do that. Um, so they make their way to where they're supposed to go and happen upon a small island that isn't known to exist. Somehow, 6 men die on the island, 2 people trying to escape, 1 survives and remembers absolutely nothing. Allegedly. So our narrator makes his way to where this report occurred to see if he can find out anything more. Eventually, he finds out that the survivor of the boat and the survivor of that boat incident has passed away from his wife, the only female in the entire story. So the man died like his uncle with no real cause of death that anyone could discern. He was again jostled, as if that's an indication of death. I don't know. So
Yeah, it was like a bundle of papers falling from an attic window knocked him down.
yeah, okay. I've been hit with paper before, and I got a paper cut. I didn't die.
It's almost like it would have been like a huge, like ton-sized roll to be just like
Yeah.
knock it out. Thunk.
I wonder if he's trying to convince us that Cthulhu's killing them. Like, is that what's supposed to be happening? But even then, it's like, what incentive does Cthulhu have to kill people?
Because like it says, people helped him to his feet, but then before the ambulance got there, he was dead.
So are
So
they
it's like-
secretly poisoning him?
That was my thought of like, because I think it said something about he thought that the guy that jostled the uncle had like somehow injected him or something and killed him. Because that would make sense. And then, like, this guy gets hit by paper, and oh, these 2 guys pick him up, but then he's suddenly dead.
Yeah.
So, like, are they like the cult members? And
again, what
Cthulhu's
incentive?
just like, hey, these people know too much, and they're not part of us.
Yeah.
Like, we can't have them telling things,
Mm-hmm.
so we need to dispose of them. Because obviously, as it keeps going, like, the sailor escaped from him. So, like, he's obviously got a target on his back because he escaped anyway.
It's like they have absolutely no incentive to kill him. Like, what benefit does he serve? If he tells anyone what happened, they're just going to think that he's crazy. You know? It's not like they're at risk letting him live. So I really don't understand the incentive behind this. So I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed weird. Like, especially because he said he wrote in the document everything down because, no one was going to believe the sailor's actual story. So he wrote it down and, like, locked it away because he had to get it out somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. Just yell it to the void, buddy. Like, that's what the rest of us do with secrets. We don't write it down for anyone to find. And then he's like, yeah, I wrote it in English so my wife wouldn't find out. Like, and she said to the guy in perfect English, hey, that man's dead. So she obviously spoke English. What?
Yeah, and who knows?
I don't know. So, the man describes the island in his writing, which he never shared with the police. He says that geometrically, the place itself is said to be strange. No one can seem to tell where the sea and the ground are, and the place seems to change your perspective. And while he was describing this, I could only think of that place that has a weird gravitational pull. Have you seen that video where everyone's standing straight, but it looks like they're standing sideways because of the way the gravity pulls?
I think so.
Yeah. Or like things will roll down on a flat surface, like picking up speed because the gravity pulls slightly the wrong way.
I think I've like seen some of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I could think of was that one of those locations.
Yeah, because he said at one point, like one of the guys running away, it looked like the rock caved in, but it was
Hmm.
pushed out, so he like speared himself on it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's an interesting island for it to be like so wacky that you don't know
Hmm.
what way is what.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really weird. I'm like,
I
what kind of shrooms did you guys consume when you went on this island?
I was like Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. So the sailors climb to the top of the island and find a giant door, which, of course, when you see a mysterious door, you open it.
I know, right? Logic. Oh, hey, look, a
Yeah.
door. Let's just
Yeah.
on this
Hope no
freaky
one's home,
island.
you know?
We don't know how to walk on this island
Yeah.
because we don't know which way is up or down, but let's open the door.
Yeah, great idea. So something comes out of the doorway, and and then he says that this figure cannot be described because it's so terrible. And I'm like, oh yeah, great. Like, that's what I want in my horror novel. Oh, it's terrifying. You just have to take my word for it.
Yeah,
What?
no. We need details to make it
Yeah.
horrifying. Or like
I'm
give
like,
you a few and leave out some.
yeah, like, oh,
So
I'm
like
so scared of nothing.
I really it's just like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, I guess. So the sailors climb to the top of the island. Oh, wait, I already said that. Whoops. So Cthulhu, apparently, who cannot be described. And I think this man drove through Cthulhu to escape the island. Like, is that how you were kind of understanding that reading scene at the end?
Yeah, he like it was Cthulhu's right behind him, so he like whipped it around or like reversed
Hmm.
it and like went right over it, so it like cut him apart. But
Yeah.
then he was like healing, but it took too long to heal that he was able to get away.
Yeah.
Was what I got out of it, and I was like,
I was like,
okay, so he can
what?
be killed, like he's being ripped apart.
It's like, I guess, but I always thought, like, my understanding is that basically they kind of describe him as being like gelatinous. You know?
Yeah,
So I'm like, okay, I guess you just have goo all over yourself now and you're just gonna carry right along. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, our narrator, after reading all this, says that the world has been tainted and that he now knows too much, and that the cult will find him and kill him soon enough. And then our narrator says that he hopes no one finds the story again. Like, destroy it after you write it, buddy.
I
Like,
know.
if you don't want anyone to find out about it, you need to burn it. Like, that's the only way no one's gonna know.
Yeah, because like this whole island thing happened the same time as like well the Henry guy was having like his breakdown.
Hmm.
Like it said like they were lined and then like everything just has stopped since.
Yeah.
So it's
But
like
I think it's every year on these dates. Because it said, like, even going back to the 2000, 1908 or whatever it was, 1907, it's every year on these dates, which of course the dates coincide with my birthday. So I was like, oh, that's something I should probably unpack later. Um, what does this man have against Aries season? Anyways, yeah, he just like says that it basically happens every year on these dates, and we should now be afraid of March.
I was just like, why is it just for like this small period of time? Like I thought it was
Mhm.
supposed to be he was awakening for like good. And
Yeah.
it's just like are this because it mentioned like the stars have to align. Are they only aligned for like these few days that he's like
Yeah.
allowed to like pop out and be like, "Hello, I'm back," and then has to go right back in?
Because it's like the end of February through like the beginning of April, I think. Like February 28th through April 2nd, I think he said. So it's like, great. That's
Yeah.
spring, a beautiful season of pollen and allergies, I guess. So, um, I'm not really sure what the problem is here and what you have against this wonderful weather that they're having, but go off, I guess.
Yeah, it was just like I was like I just didn't understand why he was suddenly out and about and then he just goes back away when
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, it's going to be like ages
End of
before he
days.
can come back again." And it
Yeah.
was just, like, why wouldn't, if he was released into the ocean, just stay in the ocean
Yeah.
and just go for it? Instead, he just goes back to his island and it sinks back below.
Yeah, what's the benefit there?
I was
Like,
like, okay.
and I'm like, am I supposed to be scared? Because now I'm just kind of annoyed. Like, where was the flavor?
I know. I was like, if you're trying to scare me about the ocean, I'm scared of what's actually in the ocean more
I
than
know.
this.
Like,
I'm already
sharks
scared
live
of that.
there. There's giant
Um,
octopuses. There's that thing that has one light bulb on the top of its head. I'm afraid of that more so than I am of this
like
gelatinous cube.
there's enough in the ocean already that I
Yeah.
don't need you to give me anything else. This doesn't make me want to avoid it. Everything else does.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so there's that. I guess we'll unpack that later. A religion that you don't understand, that you're just going to make generalized assumptions of, I guess. I don't know. So that was the Call of Cthulhu, a honestly very white-centered approach to other religions, apparently.
Like, I was expecting it to be so much better with like the horror and whatnot, and it's just no.
I know.
I
I
was
don't
like,
know.
really?
I know.
This is
I
what we get to see.
expected flavor. I
He
expected
chases a
fear.
boat. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Okay, great. Like, you woke him up from his nice little nap. I'd probably be angry too. Like, I was out here sleeping, dreaming, communicating with people in my dreams, and now I am awoken into a random world of people screaming.
Yeah.
I would be kind of mad too. I get it. Like, you've come to my island, you've trespassed in my home, and now you dare to leave? Like, what?
It,
Poor.
yeah.
I'm gonna say it once. I've said it once. I'm gonna say it again. Poor Cthulhu.
Basically, at this point, this guy's just, he didn't even get a good story. Like, that's what
I
he
know.
got.
Yeah, and
Like, he
now you
couldn't
just leave
get the
out
rest.
details. It's like, first of all, they call Cthulhu ugly. They don't describe him. All I can tell is he's got some like sweet wings and like a tentacle face. That's all I know about him. Like I and they call his body grotesque. Like, first of all, rude. Like, he is a gelatinous cube. Gelatinous cubes cannot be grotesque. They are gelatinous.
There's some pretty good images online because like there's been a video game and such that actually I feel like do pretty decently, like with like the scaly skin and whatnot. So I was like checking them out and it was like, okay, like I wish we could have like actually like seen more of this dude in the
Yeah.
story because it actually like feels like it would be some kind of like monster that you should be scared of. Like
Yeah.
when you go out at night, this guy's just gonna appear like out of the ocean and come get you. Like,
Yeah.
this is what we got.
I'm gonna be honest, all I was imagining is a super adorable Funko Pop of where they have the limited edition neon one, and I was like, oh, he's so cute though. He's so small. And so I'm like, the entire time he's describing it, they're like grotesque, scaly, giant, and I'm like, but he's so small. Because I've been
That would do
wanting.
it.
So now I'm like, my perception's warped on this little creature because I'm like, he's just a little man.
Yeah, if you like look at like the photos, like Google Images, it
Mhm.
shows some pretty good ones, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what I was expecting when reading
Yeah.
this. Not, oh look, I'm just gonna come at you like Jello in the water.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not even scared. I'm just confused. Why is he Jello?
Yeah, really.
You know?
I was just expecting so much more of like the horror aspect, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I think I scared myself more with TikToks about Wendigos than this.
Yeah.
So like,
Rando nodding in the forest,
yeah, I was like, okay, I'm more terrified to go on that app now and look at the things because I've looked at so many than I was of this story. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Literally, though. Oh my goodness. Well, that was the Call of Cthulhu. Thank you so much for joining me, Nova. Where can all the people on the wonderful internet find you?
Pretty much anywhere at Novosaurus Rex with two X's is me.
Yeah. I'll put it in the show notes too for everybody that wants to see how to spell it, you know. for funsies. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I misspell things so easily that I just need to throw that in the show notes for anybody that's like me and can't spell to save their life.
A lot of people think immediately it's just like the one X. But like when I tried to use it, that was taken. So I used the two X's, and now that's just kind of become a thing.
Feel that.
So.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and we will catch you all in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for joining me today on this episode of the Barely Bookish podcast. If you want to find me anywhere, I'm at Barely Bookish on everything, or you can go to barelybookish.com/connect, and it will lead you to all of my links. It'll also be in the show notes for anyone who wants it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to help me and help this podcast grow, leave a review. It helps so much. Share it with a friend. All that good stuff. Thank you so much for listening. Our logo was designed by my wonderful little sister Sarah. Our theme song is from freepd.com, and it is by Raphael Crux. And that's all I have for you on this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!